Thanks for inviting me, B. Kayla, my friend for many years. This is the first time I've spoken at a BIMA event, so thank you. And I should probably thank Guillaume, because when Guillaume used to work with us, he registered as members of BIMA, so if it hadn't been for you, we probably wouldn't be here. I work for a digital agency called Aqueduct. There are around 40 of us lurking in a roof space above Smithfield Market, but we're not the first agency that's been there. There have been many agencies up there in the past. So we have the ghost of Christmas past, I think. Certainly Razorfish, anyway. I'm here with a colleague, John, and the two of us went to South by Southwest this year, and I have put together a short presentation. She's very much focused on my experience at South by Southwest. But it isn't about a keynote that I saw, or a speaker, or any kind of show or anything that I went to. It was about a set of meetings that were organised for us on behalf of Aqueduct by the UK trade and industry for free. So they gave us a load of meetings with targeted clients for free. Some of you may have heard of it. It's called the Platinum Connection, as it says on that screen. Have you heard of it? Anybody? Brilliant. So it was a good thing to choose. I'm just going to ask a couple of quick questions. This year's South by, if it was your first year or your second year, can you put your hand in the air? So for me, it was the second. Okay. Oh, all the newbies are at the front and all the people at the back. It's very much geared towards businesses who don't necessarily understand South by Southwest, but it's not geared to first-timers. They like you to get one under your belt so you kind of get over that sort of rabbit in the headlights moment. And I'm going to explain to you what it was. So John and I put this little slide together after 24 hours in Austin when I said to him, so, mate, what do you think about this crazy place then? Who do you think attends? So we put a list together. There are, actually I might try and use this. There are 1,550 people who flew out. About 50 of those were on our flight, weren't they? And they're all partying. Even in economy, people were partying and chatting and drinking wine. It was brilliant. So quite a lot of people go out there. There's 24,500 attendees at the interactive part of South by. It's 60,000 in total, but it relies on some people leaving after a few days so that more people can arrive. Otherwise, I think the city would literally blow up. John and I did hang around for a couple of days of music. I don't know why we did that. But there's a lot of traditional ad agencies out there. Tech vendors, of course. Businesses are sending people that work for them, so actual clients, believe it or not. Some startups who are all looking for VCs. There are obviously the speakers and the panelists, as you would expect, and last year we had some work of ours. We worked with Manchester City, and they put some work on screen last year, which was very cool. Very grateful for them for that. There's people who are just going to events, so my friend from Sapient last year, she just was paid by Sapient to go there and go to as much stuff as possible and report it all back to the staff. That's cool. That was her sort of mission. There's obviously the networkers, the media, just people who are up for a good time and just collecting as much swag as possible, and of course, agencies. Now, the point of this is all these sets of people here have different needs from South by Southwest. And I'm not going to go through them all and try and strangle it to death with some faux user-centered design nonsense. But I am going to say that I went out there to meet businesses. I am a client service director for my sins. I like winning business. I enjoy it when we win stuff. And I would love to work with some North American brands. I'm not ashamed of that. I wanted to do that. And so 4 months before we left, we started getting meetings in the diary. John and I met 23 different businesses in 6 days, and we still had plenty of time for fun. So it's doable, but it's doable with the help of the UK T&I, and I'm going to explain a little bit about that. So what is the Platinum Connection? That's a definition that the lady from government sent me. She really wanted to come here tonight, but she couldn't make it. But she sent me a few little tidbits on email, and that was one of them. So I'm not going to read it out because you're all perfectly capable of reading it. And here's another slide with even more text on it. But it is a joint initiative. So Francis Maud, I did actually used to work in government, but Francis Maud basically gave some money to this program a few years ago. The UK T&I is just promoting British business overseas. I mean, I think most people might know that. If you didn't know that, that's what they do. And he did that specifically for South by Southwest. So he's actually saying, as British businesses, I want you to do well at South by Southwest. I would like you to actually get some business out of it. Amazing. Here's money. And if it's successful, and John and I fill our surveys in, and all the other companies fill their surveys in, he'll give some more money next year. So it has to be promoted and it has to be supported. Now, what's the next slide say? Okay, so there is no cost. It's entirely free. Brilliant. So we had 5 meetings with 5 sports organisations, and we didn't actually pay any money for it. Brilliant. Now, if you go to a new business agency in London, that's not free, by the way. So, you know, and I think John actually said to me after a couple of days, he said, I think we've done a year's worth of new business already, and that was only by Sunday night. So, you know, we were going some. They'll schedule at least 3 meetings for you, and it's on the stand. So when the trade show opened and you just went in and got loads of free T-shirts or whatever, it's in there. I've got a photograph of it in a minute. But we actually got 5. So you can have one-on-ones with the lady who's out there in America. So there's a lady who works in London government. She works on Victoria Street, where all government mainly works. And then there's a lady over in Ireland called Una, who I spoke to yesterday, and there's a lady out in America. And they just form a little triangle between them, and you can talk to them whenever you like. And if you're not really sure what the heck's going on, and you're sort of caught up in this thing, you think, what the heck have I signed up for? About a month before you leave, they just give you free drinks and sit you down and go, let us explain it. And actually, we were well into the process, and that was still really useful for us. So how do you qualify? Now, I found this very interesting. There's some things in this part of the process that I didn't actually know myself. So you must be able to articulate your business. Well, you can all do that, right? I mean, if I gave this microphone to anybody, you could tell me what you do for a business. So write that in fancy language and you're fine. You need to talk about the opportunities that you can offer to US companies. It's not all take. You give and take a little bit. So you just have to say what I think I can contribute. Very straightforward. It's all on a form on a web page, obviously. If you can, in your business, combine interactive music and film, you are a shoo-in for it, but we don't, so it's fine. But if you can, do say that, because that platinum part of the name, there is a platinum badge that you can buy for South by Southwest. If you're absolutely wedged up, you can buy film, music, and the other one, ours, and you can get into anything. So they take their name from that. So it's not essential, but useful if you can. And obviously make sure that you're a good fit to work internationally. Some kind of business track record. Okay, we've all got that. We all know what we're doing. It's fine. I mean, friends of ours have been out there with very, very small businesses, cottage industries, 2 or 3 people, but you know, some kind of professional background to what you do. And if you've been to events before, that's all really useful. You can't be on a current trade mission to South by Southwest. That might just sound like weirdness, and if it does, that's cool. But if that makes sense to you, you can't be doing that and the other thing. I'm just not going to go into it because it's just too long-winded. You can't have received any support before from the UK T&I. So if you've heard of them or worked with them, this is not for you, I'm afraid. Not have participated previously. I didn't know that. So we can't do it again, which is a real shame. So if you haven't done it, do it, but make that your year. I had no idea. I mean, we got a lot out of it, but now I know we're never doing it again, which is a little bit of a shame. Your travel plans have to fit in with the meetings. You can't start emailing them going, oh, sorry, I'm not arriving until Saturday. Right? I mean, they'll just tell you when the meetings are. You need to be there. I don't really think that's an issue. I mean, we were out there for a good week or so, 5, 6 days. I mean, as long as you're there for the full thing, it'll be fine. But don't try and ask them to change everything to fit in with your itinerary, because they'll not be very happy about that. You have to give them enough time to get the meetings organised. They've got a lot to do. There are 40 businesses every year. That's all it is, 40 get in. Times that by 5 meetings, times that by 2 people on each table. Over the 3 or 4 days, busy, and it is a logistical nightmare, and people don't show up, and then they say, oh, could I come back later? And it's pretty stressful for them. Oh, and you must have your own tickets. Seems like a really obvious thing, but I kind of realised afterwards, and I was talking to John about it, you have to have bought a ticket for South by Southwest. Seems fairly obvious. There are some people out there who don't buy tickets, I think. So who can you meet? I'm just pressing this thing, hoping things will happen. So, anyone in your business area. So, we at Aqueduct are really lucky to work with Manchester City, even though I'm a Manchester United supporter. It's still a lucky thing to work with City because they're a brilliant brand to work with and they're great in digital. And off the back of that, we've done loads of work in sport. So we have another Premier League club in Sunderland. They had an interesting weekend last weekend, and the website just about held up. And we've done loads of other sport work as well. So we asked for sport meetings, okay? That was the point of that little speech. So whatever it is that you do well or do best, ask for meetings in that area. Or if it's a sector that you're really interested in getting into, you can ask for meetings in that area as well. So we met some teams from all of those different sports, which was very cool. We also set up some of our own meetings as well, obviously, because I said we'd done over 20. We met sports marketeers, who we've subsequently been back in touch with, governing bodies, 2 or 3 of those, 2 broadcasting companies, big ones that you've heard of, and a betting company from Australia. Brilliant. If you are interested in getting involved in this, it's really easy. You've actually probably all got logins to the South by Social portal, and actually if you just go back to the website, it's all over there, Platinum Connection. But these 3 ladies can help you, and you're welcome to come up to me afterwards or just take a photograph of the screen or write it down now while I yak on. Pip works in government. She changed jobs yesterday, but she's still in the same department, so it's okay. You can contact her if you wish. Una works in Ireland. She's got a southbysouthwest.com email address, which makes her extra cool. And I spoke to her this week, and she's fitting well. And Tracy works for that company in New York. She is the point of contact down there with the US businesses. And then there's a whole team of people who run around and organize stuff, but those are the 3 most important people. So some of you have held a phone up, that's cool. If you want introductions or anything, just let me know. Just a point that John made to me at work this afternoon, he said, why don't you put that photograph in that you took of the stand? I said, yeah, that's a good idea. So there it is. You'll remember the area, of course, and it's situated between 11 and 1200. We took one of these desks at the back here, the 2 of us sat there with our iPads, pile of business cards, well prepped, and it's like speed dating. It was brilliant. There's just businesses just kept coming along, and they're all really good people, and we've been in touch with all of them since we got back. There's breakout areas here. There is a Union Jack flag here, and this is an area for British agencies to hang out, so it's a good place to go and organise meetings, and you just tell people that you're situated between 11 and 1200. It's dead easy to find. I think that's it. But it says questions, but I'm not really supposed to have to ask for questions, so you'll have to come and, if you've got anything to ask me, you'll just have to come and find me afterwards. But there you go, that's it. Thanks very much.